Wiggle out your final. Pinch it off, boys, because we're starting here.
PSP.
Oh, I didn't know that we were catching Gabe right on his way to the strip club.
Yeah, baby.
Dancing, obviously.
You brought your singles, right?
I hope you don't got a snake.
Gabe knew this would be fabulous.
So we're here. We have, it looks like we got some homies that were here right in the beginning. This is so beautiful and wonderful and amazing. Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Bird. Pan Greedy. This is the first time we're doing this. It's gonna be crazy. But I think we're gonna build a universe that's going to open some portal holes. Super excited. Still not sure of the exact name of the game. I thought Esoteric Dragon Lovers was pretty cheesy. And I'm pretty non-dairy intolerant, so I love cheese. But yeah, so today our host, our DM, the guy who's going to be shedding the light on the darkened world that we're going to find ourselves in, is here under the name of Whizbeard or Alan Marcus. So, hello, hey buddy.
You guys are going to be punished. Prepare to be punished.
Bring it on.
For seeking the esoteric knowledge.
Bring it on.
And conjuring the darkest of all spirits, the imagination.
No butt stuff though, dude. I'm good with everything else. Just no butt stuff.
Unless it's magical.
Do we need to establish safe words right now?
Chalupa's my safe word.
Okay.
P-eunuch me.
Radish.
Are we ready to jump into the story?
Yeah. So, I mean, just I guess we're gonna go. Should we introduce characters after the story is introduced?
Well, let me just say that you guys have been visited by these peacock hens, who are urging you to listen to them. Do you have the peacock video you could play there?
Not the ends.
You know what a peacock hen kind of sounds like. The call of the peacock beckons you. Yes, kind of that cooing sound. But then a female voice emerges.
China.
Speaks to each of you, describing a situation in which your bravery and valor and academic prowess have created an urgency in a mystical kingdom in which they want to award you bravery. So they are throwing a feast, a festival, a party in your honor. And there's a possibility of granting wealth, riches, the possibility of an entire kingdom. And yet you have to choose whether you'll accept the invitation from this peacock hen maiden who's urging you to follow her through the mist onto this adventure. And since you are all here, we know that you've accepted the invitation. So now we find ourselves in a banquet hall. You have traveled by horse, camel, caravan, a great distance, through the mist, onto an island to find this estate. You don't know much about it, but you know the wealth was gathered by the merchant family who lives here. They have sold all sorts of fine silks and opiums and adult beverages and drugs. It's all sorts of sinful behavior that has gathered all the wealth, concentrated onto this island place, and now you are welcome to celebrate with us.
Let's party. Let the party begin.
So, Indy, who's your character?
I'm a Scotsman. I ride in on horseback.
You don't do that.
Escorted by your hen peacock maiden.
Indeed, my name is Emrys.
Imbris.
Emrys. My nickname is Emrys. My real name is Merlin Wilt. They call me Merlin nowadays.
Scotsman, huh?
Indeed. From the Scotland.
They call I myself, I go by the name Corpus Majori. I'm a man bat. I'm a man bat of many, many, many drugs that I sell within my wings, which is a coat that opens up. There's lots of deep, deep pockets, deep threads there. Ancient phone numbers. I got people on call. I've gotten kicked out of a lot of social circles due to my my lust. I have so much lust that the trust has been taken out of a lot of social circles, and I'm trying to mend them back by giving out a lot of information to people and I'm trying to better myself.
We're bored already.
Oh God. Anyways, so I'm a man bat. I'm about 17. No, I'm just kidding. I'm about 7 foot tall, and I got beautiful fangs. That's about it.
Oh, so beautiful.
Well, I'll go next. I am Paranoidicus, who's a human criminal sorcerer, and I'm it's questionable as to whether I'm perhaps here for good or for evil, or just to be a little bit of a catalyst. I've been in and out of multiple jails and prisons across many different worlds and dimensions. So I also have maybe some arcane history knowledge passed around through criminal enterprises, and not necessarily things that would be found in your history books.
We're friends.
Yeah, I think I got drugs from you last Thursday, actually.
And what was your character name?
Paranoidicus.
Yes. Okay.
Welcome, Angus.
Oh, never mind.
What about this cowboy over here?
Are you more than a cowboy? What is inside that hat?
You got a pretty mouth.
Oh, yeah. I am a front-tailed, trifling dryad. And I am an augury reader with the ability to gaze deeply into my top wear and foretell future possibilities with mind-spinning accuracy. And with the slightest kiss, I can send multiple friends or enemies into frenzied, orgasmic, lustful states.
What happens with the full tongue?
I never tell.
I've been following you for quite some time through the polydimensional walls. I've been wanting that lustful. Well, I want you to touch me with the lust, but I just can't get you to touch me.
To be honest, your orgasms are legendary across multiple, prison yards.
Dimensions, bro.
Prison yards. Yeah.
It's that front tail.
It's the front tail. They see me coming a mile away, but they don't run.
I think we got one more mystical character here.
2.
Trying to find my character sheet, but I'm I'm Nancy Malicio. I have I believe it's a dark elf wizard, a war wizard. Trying to remember all the stuff, but he's just an enigmatic figure, and he was actually once dead. He's already died. I don't know if you want to share my screen, my character. I actually have a professional character I got done for him, but he at one time died. He was resurrected. He's got this alchemical. He was reincarnated through some dark magic or something. And I believe he's about 200, 300 years old. He's got this nasty scar. He's blind in one eye. And yeah, that's pretty much all we know about him.
It's a regular badass.
It's a sexy alien there.
Yeah, yeah. He's a white dude.
Mushroom print on his forehead.
Yeah. It's that front tail.
Oh yeah, he's got the lunar standstill symbol. Cobra
Look at those lips.
Cobra Commander.
Cobra King. Love that.
Beautiful. So the story so far, you've all been amongst your daily life. Oh, well, who's going to jump in?
Yeah, bashful boy. Who are you?
What about?
Don't forget Anunnaki Dan.
What am I? Chopped liver over here?
You've arrived late. Everyone was already ready and they're finished their drink and their flagons are empty. Did you bring your flagon?
I brought my horn.
Heigendidel.
I am Bash.
Welcome
Sorry. My microphone's being shitty to me right now. I am Bash from the north. I'm a Viking warrior. Human. Fighter. Strong-spirited, strong-willed. And I know a little bit about magic. I'm a folk hero from the north. So I'm renowned across the land.
How big is your sword?
It's so fucking big. I have I carry 2 weapons with me. One is an axe of knowledge and one is a flaming sword of fire. The axe of knowledge is what I use to bash people in the head with to open their brains. And the flaming sword of fire is what I use to turn people into ash. That's why my name is Bash.
Oh, a barbarian of fire and ash. Fuck yeah.
And on your journey, you've accepted the invitation. You've been speaking with your peacock familiars who have been guiding you to this island through the mist. You have now arrived in the banquet hall. You hear the music playing. The servants are all silent, but bringing you food and drink. What sort of conversations have you had with your peacock hen maidens who have been by your side all along? Have you been treating them nicely?
Well, I've been using my skills of deception to pretend that I'm actually a world-renowned alchemist, another sorcerer, but that's actually someone that has a much greater influence and rapport than I do. So I feel like I've successfully convinced everyone that I've come in contact with thus far.
The Yens have set me into a bottomless pit. They've told me that's where the booze was, but I've not found it. I'm trying to party.
I got some secret juice for you here. If you're really trying to party, I mean, I can hook you up. So, I just got to know your tolerance because you're human, if I'm not mistaken. So, I don't want to OD you on the first run.
You already know my tolerance, so I'll just take my usual.
Oh, I know you. Hold on. I'm going to, if I may, before I embrace my peacock story, I'm just going to reach into my coat here and grab a very small vial for Paranoidicus and gift him with an elixir that he is yet to try, and hoping that this doesn't do him unwell, and I hope him does him very well. It's a gift for you, just right off the bat.
I immediately take the vial, and without even looking at it, I turn it upside down and get a little bit on the tip of my finger and just rub it all over the inside of my mouth. And it tastes a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was hoping it would be. So thank you.
You're so very welcome. More to come on such a sweet,
Yes,
vibrant
it
juice.
was.
I seek a bench that can give me wings, that I can fly out of this forsaken pit. Perhaps you've got a Red Bull.
I have powdered
Paranoidicus-
Red Bull testicus, but I need to
And it's over.
I need to find the powdered phallus in order to bring the body and the salt back together. So
No
let me get
problem.
back to you on that.
Let me know.
Paranoidicus, what do you plan to do with the rest of your vial?
Well, this is actually going to end up going as the base for many of my potions that we are going to have to utilize throughout our little adventure here. So, me being extremely well versed with this particular substance, I know exactly how much I need and exactly how much everyone else here needs. But I'm not going to divulge that information to you because I feel like that information could hurt you.
Well, allow me to hand you this sticky handkerchief that you can use in case you ever desire to chloroform your enemies. It is quite well enchanted and halfway prepared in advance, but I think a little bit of that potion might just set the mood right off.
I put this handkerchief into a completely isolated and sterile bubble that follows behind me at a long pace, about 6 feet away. It will always be kind of hovering behind me, and the moment I need it, it will come into my hand, and then I'll be able to inspect it further.
Yes, it will.
I knew you were going to do that.
Uh-oh, it's a real.
You're a genius.
You've all
No,
accepted
he's not.
the drink in your flagrons. You've been drinking and feasting, and your stomachs are full. At this point in the evening, the maidens come out to retrieve their hens, and they begin to speak to you and thank you for coming. Beautiful maidens, daughters of the owner of this estate. They're very shy and they giggle a lot and they don't say much. And they ask you once again, how have you treated our hens?
I have treated the hens graciously and gave them food and petted them and stroked them. I love hens. There's always hens around me, for I am known throughout the land, and I always gather animals near me. They love me.
I've got nothing but love for me hens. But I can't get my hands on them. If only Rapunzel would let her hair down. Could climb out of this. I'm in.
Using my my insight and foresight, I noticed that one of the hens is just acting shy and giggling, but is in fact quite the talker when you get them behind the scenes.
This is very true. The hens do speak and they hold many secrets. What secrets do the hens reveal to you?
The secrets that the hens revealed to me was I'm the creation of a homunculus. So the little hen is speaking to me and I'm holding it and I'm caressing it and I'm just petting its head. And you know how birds, when you move them around, they like their head stays the same. So I'm just like trying to figure it out. And she reveals to me the secrets of the homunculus. So.
Well, I've been told
little-
that one of the hens needs to die, but if we pick the wrong one, then we're all doomed forever.
One of the hens told me a secret, but she said that I need not tell anyone, for I shall use that secret on the journey because it can open pathways.
I have I've been relatively experimental with my hens, having used some of the some of the powder that I got from an old friend back in Hjartif Largen, and then I actually multiplied some of these hens, and I'm working on 13 of them right now. But the thing is that they've actually kind of started a ruse against me, and have been actually chasing me for quite some time. So it's about time that I try to consolidate them back into one. I don't feel like this was a good thing that I've done. I think I might have opened up a little bit more of a deeper well for myself, when all I was really trying to do was create more hens of this special peacock that I knew had magical power, that I basically could harvest their organs and use for a special type of alchemical mixture. And when I did try to harvest a hen, it actually backfired on me quite hard. And a lot of my tools actually just melted right away. And there was a loud shriek that came from within, and I haven't quite gotten the message. I think I'm dealing with it quite wrong. If looking for any and all advice and any answers and insight into what the fuck is really going on here, because I've been really having a shit year, man.
At this point, you hear trumpets and fanfare from the rafters as banners drop down, dust spilling out of them, mist rises. There's a purple smoke filling the room, and the hens began chirping louder, and the maidens go to the front of the platform and begin to do a dance. They're shimmering, they're shaking, their bellies are exposed, and you guys are wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. At this point, they announce that their master is preparing to make his appearance.
Decide to capture and consolidate some of this purple smoke, just in case it comes in useful later.
I've pulled all of the feathers off of my hen, stripped it butt naked, and like Diogenes, I'm very eager to prove Plato wrong and steal some of his acolytes and take them under my own wing with this naked walking chicken that I've accomplished.
You hear a voice emerge, and you rub your eyes. You can't quite make it out. You can see a large fanned out peacock tail. It's fluttering and flapping. But you see the limbs of a mule on the same body. And there's a mule's head, but it's a glistening, glitter-covered human torso that confuses you further. As the maidens begin to dance around him in an ecstatic orgy, with their feathers going in and out, fanning the flames of this figure. And you're not certain whether it's material or not, whether it's physical or not, but there's great laughter and confusion amongst you all.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn!
What did we just walk into?
I turned to my Batman drug dealing friend and request a couple of lima beans in hopes of turning invisible and infiltrating the flock of young maidens.
I reach into my satchels, one of the endless satchels, with this readily available bean that I have of massive surplus, and hand them over to my friend.
And with these beans,
I stop you right there, sir. According to the Pythagorean doctrines, it is highly forbidden to eat any beans, and it's punishable by death.
I've eaten the beans. What's that do?
But these lovely maidens, they need infiltrating. Surely.
Clinging to the wall in there, and I'm losing my grip.
Not those kind of beans, bro. The other kind of beans.
I retreat into a dark corner and I summon a few mangy dogs from the outside, which now come into this area and cause a little bit of a disruption.
The hens are not fearful of the dogs, but rather just kind of continue to giggle. The maidens, without fear, approach you and whisper in your ear, bow. Bow to our peacock god. Bow now, bow now, bow now. Why aren't you bowing?
I bow. I bow instantly.
I bow hard. Yeah.
I'm bowing and I've fallen off the wall.
I vomit violently.
To NBC, so I stay standing.
The fabulous mule peacock entity with the glimmering abdomens begins to laugh hysterically. He enjoys the show that you're putting on for him. Assuming the gender. That might be your first mistake.
I slip the beans into my mouth and disappear from the visual field.
I gulp with uncertainty of my giving this as the encroaching mule hen is looking kind of pissed, and I'm kind of scared of what we've gotten ourselves into, and now I might be held accountable for having supplied one of the invisible men, but hoping that his travels do well and can get us some insight.
Can I roll for perception? Is there anything else we can see of this chimera, mule hen, donkey, torso, glistening thing?
I know his name.
What's his name?
Because I am a folk hero and I've been around for millennia, I know of this god. His name is Mulelock.
I think they call him Joe Biden for short.
Sleepy Mulelock.
Your perception check attempt fails as the cacophony of thunder and lightning reaches a crescendo. The entire room fills with a purple glaze of light, and then suddenly silence, nothing. The maidens are gone, the hens are gone, the fabulous demon god is gone, and you are all passed out on the cold stone floors. Thus you begin your adventure in mystery.
I'm automatically, it just, from this deep dreaming state, I feel the absence of my 13 hens. We had gathered such a connection, the spiritual connection to create that, and like I'm waning, and there's not an amount of drugs that can help me see any insight into this. I'm absolute despair of what this. I actually lived for moments like that and feel like it evaded me without any answers, and I'm fucking utterly confused.
A featherless chicken is dancing in a circle around Thomasicus, seemingly by strings that are unperceivable in a counterclockwise fashion. And the smoke around him begins to change color in the most fascinating way. And one of the maidens begins to have heart-shaped eyeballs as she gazes upon him with foul intentions.
So the events of the previous evening remain with evidence. Someone plucked the feathers. Probably a good idea to do that. It wasn't quite a hallucination. And now at this point, I imagine you imagining determining whether you are going to remain here or try to find a way to escape. The banquet hall is open. The estate is free to explore.
Hey, Gay, let me get one of those peacock feathers that you plucked, and I'm going to maybe use that as a quill with some of this vial. I'm going to mix some of that purple smoke dust, which now turns my vial that homie Romy gave me, Corpus gave me. So now if I need to, I actually might even inscribe a tattoo on my arm using this now purple drug and that quill. So I'm going to put a single dot just to keep record of this feels like the entry point into our adventure. So I think I'm going to maybe keep like a little magical tattoo that keeps a chronology and maybe even a guide of where we've been.
Here you are, my friend. Is that maiden still following you around?
I do believe that our friend Indy Merlin has stole some of your lima beans, Slick, because he is invisible and he's no longer with us.
Well, when I think what happened was during that interesting time void that we entered into, we had a moment to either all bow and listen and gather more information, and he fell and might have actually been stuck in that time void, and we might have to might find him when we go back there. But I am super curious about this reaction of Paranoidicus's tattoo mark. What's happening with that on your skin? Is there any reaction?
It's a very common. I just make the little dot. I can see exactly where it went, but then it vanishes to everyone but me. So if you ever want to know what the tattoo looks like or a little guide, you just ask me, and then I'll let you know what I see.
Little circle, circle, dot, dot.
I'm going to run. I'm going to fly up above the tree lines to see what our immediate surroundings are, and I'm going to go do a territory sweep. I'll be back shortly, and back with some from an aerial point of view for you guys.
Am I able to mount you, Bat Boy, to get a closer view as well?
You got T-1, 0. Let's go.
Awesome.
And what little can you see through the fog and the mists of this island?
I see a volcano, active red magmatic sort of. I'm not sure if it's a caldera. I'm not sure if it's a flow, but there is a red emberous glow in the northern part of this land. But yeah, there's definitely some water on the east side here. 2 moons. 2 big, beautiful moons that have some sort of strange, like.
Is that a castle, bro? Is that a tower that you're saying?
Is that what you see? Yeah, there is definitely some sort of castle.
Very phallic-like, yeah.
Lots of. Oh my God, lots of spires. Yeah.
That's me. That's me. Let me just move that out of the way for everybody. Put that back. Put that away.
I'd like to see if I can scan the water there and know if it contains any mollusks which produce that special purple powder that I believe might have been the source of that smoke. And if so, I'd like to maybe get one of you to obtain a few of those mollusks for me, especially if both of the moons are now full. That's the best time to get that purple color from them if they're out there.
If you go and search for them, they will be there on the beaches and the rocks.
So I like just kind of staying safe. You guys are already out there, so go ahead and pick some up for me.
Very strategic.
We're up here, and there's some intriguing things to see. Where do you want to go, Juan? Do you want to go down to this water, or do you want to keep flying?
So like as you're flying, I locked my legs like this, like under you, and then I kind of lean forward and put my arms back like that, like if I'm flying too, but it's actually you that's flying.
He nibbles on your ear a little bit.
I say we land at the top of that tower, bro. There's like this Wizard's Tower. It almost looks like the Disney Castle. I say we
It's a very
land at
tall
the very...
parapet, yes. Almost
There's a
like an
tower to the
ivory
north.
tower.
I see a window, dude.
What direction?
We attempt to enter this window.
North.
It's got to be.
You land in the window just in time as the clouds begin to rumble and flashes of lightning fill the sky with the laughter of the peacock demon entity. You've gotten closer to something.
I instantly yell out to the crew back, telling them that we found something, anything. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but I'm yelling with all of my bat might.
I think I can feel your will, and I'm letting you know that I'm probably would be recognized if I were to go there with you. So you're going to have to kind of act as my eyes and ears. You understand. I was able to fool everyone at the party, but whoever's in that tower probably knows me for my true self.
I turn to my fellow flight compadre here and say, "What did we get ourselves into? What are we doing from here? What do you want to dive deeper into this? You trying to fly back to the crew?"
There's a book in this tower that you might want to read. It's open to a page. On the cover of it is a strange sigil. There is a serpent, and there are feathers with eyes on them. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyes surrounding this triangle. There's an inscription, handwriting. It reads like a diary entry describing how the master merchant, after seeking wealth and power, wanted to contact the other side to make a contract. There's a description of a ritual chanting something along the lines of Melektaus, Lucifer,
I think I've seen
come forth
this.
from the shadows. I call you by fire and blood, by darkness and light, and in
Don't
the name of
summon
the
anything.
dragon.
I think I've recognized this grimoire, Corpus. This is from Juan D. This is one of the great alchemists of antiquity, and he was talking to entities on the other side of reality. And this looks like the Monas Hieroglyphica. This is an alchemical sigil, bro.
We must attempt to steal this book or take this page. We must take this back to the crew to instill further intuition and moves, heightened move. I attempt to take this book.
I remove my hat and gaze within, whispering to the spirits from the beyond for advice on what is wise in this time of storm and tumult.
I use some
I
of my
see
mind
this book.
sorcery to communicate back to Romy and give him some of the tricks of the trade that I've picked up from being a criminal to help maybe deceive and steal at least the pertinent pages of that book so that no one notices the entire thing is gone, but a few key pages for sure are now in our possession.
Oh yes, thank you. And as that happens, I do slightly remember a gift given to me from a trade that happened quite some time ago. Special glasses that are made of a crystalline structure that actually can record images and things. I can't find them right away, but I am digging for this on our journey into my endless satchel.
Would you like me to deploy my
I
homunculus to
I
watch over
want
this
you to
tower?
send your homunculus to the shore and gather some of those mollusks for us.
Oh,
So,
please do.
You guys didn't see, but on my back, this whole time, there's actually been this little being. I was wearing him almost like a backpack, and he kind of detaches himself and crawls around, and he actually kind of looks like Nick Cage. So it's like a little miniature Nick Cage, and I send him out, and he will do whatever our bidding is. He's our little watcher.
All
so
we
he can,
are is Nix in a cage.
yeah. So
I recognize the cover of this book with the snake, the triangle, and the 7 eyes, and I realize that it's a book of merchants, and it's from the ocean nymphs, and it's a book of chants by the ocean nymphs. And I proclaim that we should probably read these pages near the lake, and something will happen. It's of the 7 eyes of the seas.
I'm down with that. I'm trying to get out of this room as now we have information from the book. I really am starting to feel a little anxious about staying here. It seems to not be so easy to go back out of the window. As I'm standing over here, knocking on something hard that seems to be what was an open window is now. Is this sealed off? What is happening?
There's a great storm, thunder and lightning, the barometric pressure pushing you back in. This seems to be a spiritual attack, and you are not certain whether or not you're fighting flesh and blood or the demons of your own mind.
I gather all of the stray dogs and sacrifice them in a bout of providing some magical power and assistance to Romy.
I feel this. Channeling this.
Diogenes is weeping in a bucket in the corner.
He'll get over it. He knows me, and he knew that this was going to happen the second that I called those dogs into the party.
I'm scanning the room for another exit, looking for a door, looking for a tunnel, looking for a pole to slide down, anything. The thing is the reason why I have so many drugs is because I have high anxiety, and so I need to get out of here. The storm is freaking me out. Do we need more homunculuses to help us get out of this room? Or
my homunculus slipped out through a hole in the wall, dude. There was like a missing brick, and he just like dipped.
Yeah, my bad. He's picking those mollusks for me right now. I didn't realize you were gonna need them right away.
This front tail tiefling and the vision of Diogenes is something that I'd like you to explore further. There is something here.
Well, I noticed Diogenes is nude. Apparently, he was at the party and he is crying. However, now he's basically inconsolable, and he won't speak to anyone because he feels that the fact that we engorged ourselves in this big feast, he was quite offended at that.
So I approach him and begin to whisper sweet nothings in his ear in hopes of encouraging him to bring forth his lantern of light, knowing that it will clearly remove the storm and bring peace to the land again if we can only console Diogenes. And gently,
he brings forth his lantern
on the back of his neck.
He shows you there's no oil. It cannot be lit. The flame has been out. He describes to you how the master of the estate, the owner, this merchant of sin, and his hubris to create a harem of daughters and hens in his hen house to attract men into this sort of sexual orgiastic ecstasy, to give them the desires that they wish for, and to sort of love bomb them. And he describes how there is something that they put in the wine. It's sort of an ambrosic drink thing, and you all drank of it. That was your mistake.
I remember now how when they asked us to bow, I violently vomited. This was a known side effect of taking that exact dose earlier on in the evening. So I feel like by me vomiting all of that out, I might have saved myself some of the effects that would be applying to the others.
I'm part of Alchemists Anonymous, so I wasn't drinking whatever it was that they were drinking. So I'm part of AA.
Yeah, you had a club soda.
Yeah, I was drinking a Dr. Pepper, I think.
I have a heightened tolerance, so I definitely am feeling a lot of these effects, but not quite in such an extreme way that I remember our brother Bash. I think he was just gulping these puppies down.
I sure the fuck was.
And our fellow Scotsman as well was drinking every drop on the side of the cliff that he was hanging on.
I feel like I might actually regret throwing mine up.
I'm wanting to dig a bit deeper into these feelings. Bash, what is it that you are getting from an extra dose? What's coming of this?
I feel divine feelings of love, harmony within me.
Gabe, since you're talking to Diogenes, does Diogenes have any idea on where the oil went and where we could get him? Does he need some kind of special oil for his lamp, or will, like, the fat from the feast that was before us do? Can we kill one of these hens and extract some oil?
I steal a mug from the hall table and I pee in it, and I offer it up for you guys to take as a remedy to deal with your poisoning.
I encourage Diogenes, who is unusually willing to comply at this point, to partake of this lovely frothy drink that that Bash has offered up in a consolation for his grief. And in the meantime, I take up the challenge of seeking out the sacred oil that will light up the lamp of Diogenes again. And I believe it requires the Murex purple dye that we might find if we make it to the shore of the ocean front.
As I'm embracing this subtle high that I'm getting, and I turned to my fellow that we were in this chamber together. I told him, I said, well, part of the problem with all of these constituents that I have on my endless satchels is that I constantly forget about the things that I have. And it takes me a long time to look for them and sometimes to even remember that I have them. But as I am within this dreary state, I do know that I have a portal opening smoke bomb that I could put on the ground, and hopefully it'll get us outside of the castle. If the storm and the spiritual force that is keeping us within is not too strong, we might be able to go back to our friends. So let me dig around for this smoke bomb and see if, as long as you're comfortable with that here, sir. I'm not sure how many portals you've been through.
The rumbling is increasing. The building is beginning to fall apart.
I want to run a perception check. Are we hallucinating, or is this actually happening? Can we see anything that can maybe show us that it's not what we think it is?
Your perception check is accepted, and Diogenes stands up. His robe drops to the ground. He stands before you naked, fists in the sky, screaming at the clouds at the top of his lungs. You fools! You drank the food. You accepted the invitation. You've been entrapped. Your souls are ensnared. All you should be thinking about is how you will escape this mental anguish, this mental prison you found yourself in. This flamboyant peacock entity has possessed you. You've been hypnotized by the abdomen, the glitter, the glamour of the magic, and you've been so confused and lost the plot entirely. You think you are heroes, but you are mere fools trapped on this island, and you will surely die here.
I look over at Corpus and I go, fucking told you, bro.
I use some of my magic to make Diogenes see that I also am disrobing and naked next to him, although I am not doing that in reality because I need to keep all of my goodies on me. But I just want to commiserate with him and make him feel that he's not the only old naked dude in the room.
The charm of your circle is definitely taking a hold on him.
As your hand reaches for his backside to give him a slap on the bottom, it goes through him as he dissolves into purple vapor and glitter to the ground.
I immediately huff as much of this purple vapor as I can. I realize I won't be able to contain it in any sort of substantial way, but I want all of it inside my body right now.
Suddenly, the dancing naked chicken multiplies by 20.
I take this. I say fuck this. I'm throwing portal wand down. I'm portal smoke bomb down. Treasure power, please, all spirit guide. Like, let us bust through this storm on the outside to go back with our friends, and let me get to some of this powder.
This is
much
true.
needed.
There is a chivalric code, and you are all knights in a grand order that you are misremembering. No butt stuff, no bowing, no bending.
Yes,
It was made clear to you. You should
I would-
all know this.
I would like to
vow,
point
but,
out that I never technically bowed. I was in the fit of a violent vomiting, and I realized that coincidentally, as I vomited, it might appear to everyone in the room that I was bowing to play along with pretenses. But on a bare technicality, I was simply just vomiting.
Oh,
I'm a little bit disappointed
speaking-
in you guys, but this is not the first time that you've fallen back on your oaths. I make a note of
Speaking of
this
butt
in my magic tattoos.
I bow to nobody. And while I was in the hall, I was roaming around in the different rooms, and I found the hen house, and they had purple eggs. And I grabbed a dozen or so of these purple eggs and put them in my satchel, my man purse, if you will. And
I
believe
automatically.
that purple eggs have some type of magical power. If any of you know how to extract power or identify these eggs and what they are, it would be helpful.
I automatically ask you to hand those eggs over and give them to somebody with deep safe pockets and not some man purse that might take these delicate items and
Handle those
scramble
with
them.
care. There's an egg shortage.
I believe
There's
it's
an
not
egg shortage
putting
right
all
now.
That's
your
why
eggs
I
in one
grabbed
basket.
as many as I could. Yes.
I'd like to suggest that one of those eggs goes into this magic bubble that's floating behind me, along with Gabe's weird sticky handkerchief.
Oh, this.
Do you
this is
wrap them
good.
in the sticky handkerchief?
No,
This is good.
This bubble keeps everything isolated from each other, so there's no cross contamination.
This is a potential alchemical situation to put an egg in with such a seeded napkin.
Well, you guys don't realize this, but there's a divide in this bubble so that when we put the napkin entrenched in stickiness and the egg on the other side, it almost creates some sort of a magical battery as these male and feminine energies try to attach with each other, but they are nonetheless divided. And I can now use this bubble following behind me as maybe a source of energy. You guys don't realize this, but you might have some small perception because it's starting to glow a little bit.
So I jump upon the meal table and I recite a poem in hopes to inspire and appease the angered peacock
There we
god and
Yes.
to drive my fellow companions' hearts into a unified field and a vision quest of our journey to come.
Keep it romantic. Keep it romantic, Slick. We need to use love and harmony.
That's
the
the
top
way
of
they.
my-
That's the way they roll. Please don't go too dirty with it.
At the top of my voice, I remove my hat and I speak into it like a microphone to amplify so that my voice can be heard billowing far and wide. Pull sword from earth, break old curse of fixed, memorial to Marduk's martyred erection. Loosen clasped hilt, blade none the less felt. Disarm enemy mind with Buddha path scabbard. Crusade to no ledge, cure shaman's courage, eviscerate hemisphere from horizon. And with these words, the trees part, and a straight path going to the waterways is clearly visible from where we stand.
I just start barking along with Diogenes, just to, again, trying to make him feel comfortable. And I feel that this shocked him a little bit, so I start barking, and he starts barking along with me, just to release some of this tension.
The spirit of Diogenes reminds you that you've got documents in your pocket that you've not even read yet.
That's actually pretty typical of me. I get quite forgetful. So I pull out one of these documents and I realize that I can't read it by myself. I actually lied on my resume about all the languages that I can read, and whoever gave this to me didn't know this. But I do know that someone in this party does know this language. So I'm just going to say, hey, like, I know what this says, but just to get a second set of eyes on this to make sure I'm not misreading it, you let me know, and I don't want to influence you or poison the well. So just read it and tell me what it says to you.
I take this note and, knowing that he is a dirty, lying filth of sweet, sweet valor that I respect, as we come from the same circles. I look at the note with my glasses to take a stiff frame so we can reflect on it later in case all of the rambunctious, joyous Dumbos in this group, nobody can read it in case we need it again on our journey and it gets lost. I do recognize one word though, as it's in the direct middle, and it's almost as if this direct middle word's in another language. Not quite sure, but this word does mean fence in another language, so I'm not sure how this correlates. But then I hand the note off to Bash to see if he has any insights.
I look at the note and it is not in my dialect, but I realize that the writing is from left to right.
Typical of the Southies of the South.
The East.
I realize that no one truly can decipher this, but Corpus has identified this word has some sort of magical significance. So I decide to tattoo this on the, let's see, I'll tattoo this on my left hand, in the palm of my left hand, using my magical drug ink.
The word fence is the clue. Focus on fence.
Defense.
Is there a magical homunculus that can read any language that you might be able to alchemically curate?
Yeah, so the little Nick Cagean picks up the note and he looks at it and he starts to read it, and you can kind of sort of hear him, but he says, "How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood." Do these words mean anything to you?
I immediately destroy your homunculus. I slice off its head and I drip its blood onto all of our feet, because I realize that this homunculus might have just passed its expiration date, and I implore you to generate a new one. And before this one gets too old, we might as well utilize some of its magical blood on for our own good. So I apologize.
Famished.
I should have let you know I was going to do that ahead of time, but I just did it.
He beheaded ahead of time. I am famished. This blood completely gets me level-headed again. I'm not really feeling the drink from the night before. Hoping that I left enough for the rest of you. Here you go. But my fangs have grown just a quarter inch, as they do every time I drink homunculi blood.
I wonder if the dogs that I forced to enter the party earlier and then slaughtered to help you guys, if maybe those weren't just stray dogs and originally they were owned by someone, and that the fence is no longer there. So that maybe, oops, I thought they were stray dogs, but I guess they weren't stray dogs. That's my bad.
Well, we could have had my homunculus fucking go through the fence, through a hole in the fence, but no, we can't.
I've seen way more bad homunculi in my day than you have. You've seen the nice ones.
That was a good one. You ever seen fucking Face Off or anything?
My word for it. I feel like you got to take my word for this one. When a homunculus goes bad, I can see it.
This one
It's a
definitely
rotten
was
egg.
bad. It didn't even have. Fence was nowhere in what he
Right.
recited.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Woodchucks water, wood,
Con
wood
Air.
fence,
Have you ever seen
wooden
Con Air?
fence at the water.
You
If we go to the
do
water,
recall from your aerial reconnaissance that most of the structure of the estate of this feudal lord's manor is built in stone. There is an area where there are trellises and vines growing. Those are made of wood, and there are wooden fences along the garden areas.
So we might have harvested a completely good homunculus that this Paranoidicus might have just had. I think you have a lust for murdering little heads of Nick Cagians. If I can recall anything in the past life of your sweet vengeance. What is it with you, man?
I
You
feel like
to
it's more
cough
like
off
when
there.
when you notice that the fruit is about to start going bad, like the banana, right? When the banana starts going just a little bit bad, you might as well just eat all the bananas because they're only going to get worse from here. So you might as well make use of them at their height of performance. And I know it seems a little bit cold and chaotic, but I assure you it's not out of any sort of malintent. It's for all of our best interest.
So you guys didn't see me, but when he did that, I collected all the homunculus blood and I put it in an enema. And I put the enema in my bag. You guys didn't see that though, so.
Oh, he's so sneaky. Hopefully that comes later to birth something. But I really do want to go check out this mollusk situation near the water. I think, after the blood that I was able to drink, I am curious to see how this water is doing, and maybe what intelligence, or maybe some sort of. Let's just go. You guys want to go?
This is
Standing here.
all well and good, but who amongst you goes to the fence? There are the gardens. There's a trellis. There wine, grapes,
Let's split.
something here.
Let's split.
So I approach the remaining blood pool on the ground, and with my front tail, I dip it into the blood, and I
Just the tip.
paint just the tip, and I paint an image of a drawbridge gate onto the stone walls, and then I spit on it with my enchanted saliva, and it opens up, and the pathway is clear for us to exit.
I walk forth.
I follow. I sally along behind you.
I hang back to see if anything bad happens to you guys. And I notice on this trellis, is there some kind of a special vine growing on this that might look a little bit familiar to me?
Yes, there's a whole herbal garden here that you've discovered. If you're able to identify any of the herbs, let us know.
I noticed one might be the devil's something. I can't remember if it's a good or bad devil's something, but there's definitely some sort of devil's vine or devil's root somewhere on this. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a few and throw it into a pocket somewhere. It doesn't need to go into my special bubble.
I'm going to trot along the vine to see where it ends, and hopefully I can find the source of the water. If anybody wants to come along with me, I would love it. But if not, I really need to follow my intuition back to this riverbed. So, does anybody want to? Anybody want to come with me?
I go with Slick. I go with Slick to the fence.
Yes. As we follow along behind you, I did not realize. I often forget, but I've been invisible this whole time, and I am only perceivable by footprints in the sand and a dragging third leg down the center of my footprints.
Big dragon.
So did we just witness a phallus just paint on the fence? Like it was like did it uncloak and then it just or.
Well, now that it's been dragging through the sand, the paint is removed, and I'm back to 100% invisible again. But the beans are going to wear off in no time, I'm sure, and you'll hear that when it happens.
Just for my own benefit, I throw a little bit of this black dust into the air so that I can see a slight silhouette of Gabe whenever I need to. No one else can see this purple dust because I'm the only one that knows to look for it.
purple lush.
I'm curious. Yes, I'm curious about if there's any local entities that we might be able to find in this garden. If there's any garden keepers, like, is there anybody tending this garden? It seems rather overgrown.
Is there a
Maybe they're
pathway?
just understaffed. Yeah,
I
search
do
for a pathway.
I do believe I hear the sound of music, but it seems to be coming from all directions at once.
Is there a pathway that we can follow?
There
Perception check?
is a garden. There's a wooden fence. It's painted white. It's a very beautiful picket fence. There are trellises within this garden, and you can walk through the trellises to the center of the garden where there is a fountain. The source of the water, the fountain, is this creek as you described, and you can kind of follow that out the back as it goes kind of up the mountainside.
I'd like to scratch the white paint on this fence and see how new the paint is, and if there might be a different color underneath the white. Just to know.
There is asbestos in this paint, so there's a poisoning factor happening.
I take some of this poison asbestos and I put it in another pocket.
Paint chips, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna test this water and grab one of my empty test tubes, just to see what type of like algae might be floating through, what type of bioluminescence might be happening, and then any sort of whispers that might be in the water. I know that mystical lands often carry messages within the water, so I drag over.
There is memory in the water. There is a reddish tint to this water. And you think that maybe there's blood in the water.
The singing has intensified increasingly as I approach your experiment in the water. I'm growing more and more concerned.
Wondering if anybody has any deep swimming skills that might be able to withstand the current, and check to see if there's anybody we can talk to in the water.
Wish I had a homunculus or something that could fucking check for us, but
can't you create another?
It's not that easy. You know, the astrological alignments have to be in line, and it's a complicated process. It just doesn't happen overnight. And do you know how complicated it is to get some Cajun blood? You know, that's perhaps a relic.
Perhaps if we use the handkerchief and the purple egg with your homunculus blood you've put in a vial secretly, we can somehow create a new supreme homunculi.
Yeah, I'm willing to give up some of Gabe's sticky handkerchief. You can't have all of it, but we'll squeeze out a few little droplets of whatever that sticky substance was.
I do have some electrolytic fluid that I can add to this. Let me pull out a cauldron. I'll start a fire, and I'm willing to dive deeper into this project and experiment to see what we might be able to come up with. Any directions that I need to take, homunculus?
Is there any way that you could open up we need at least 40 days, man. You know what I'm saying? Is there a way that we could possibly speed this up, put it in some sort of vortex? Yeah.
I can't speed up time itself, but I can knock us out for a 40 day streak. But we will need to have somebody with
Yeah, I'm afraid of getting molested out here by these tree elementals.
Yes,
time is of the essence.
Wisely, you all reject the offer to go under some 40-day something or another. You've lost track of time. You've lost the trail. The scent is going cold. The dogs are dead. The mollusks are a dead end. All you know is that the sense of the fence remains in your mind. There's also this new memory emerging that perhaps there was rumor of a thieves guild meeting on this island.
I quickly go over to the dogs, and I remember my alchemical training, and I look for the one with the biggest penis, and I go ahead and I grab that and I put it in my satchel.
Dog dicks, you're right.
Well, the fire is still going. Maybe the dog dick that you found can speed up the process.
I think we can leave this
Perhaps-
cauldron brewing, and maybe we go forth and come back to hopefully see if it's not spoiled in time.
In
So,
order
yeah,
to
they can
succeed, you must suck seed. So
I
we
think
can
need
leave
to
it
leave
brewing.
One person standing guard of this cauldron.
Why don't we leave the fucker that killed the one in the first place
Yeah, he
to watch
doesn't like.
over it?
He doesn't like going anywhere.
I sense that my
Yeah.
my killing of the homunculus and the dogs might have not been as well received as it should have been, and I suggest that
you notice-
I'll go and start building rapport with this this den of thieves, because I actually recognize many of them from the various prisons that I've been to across the land.
You notice I have
What?
a little heart charm on around my neck.
I can't. I'm walking
And-
away, and I can't hear him talking anymore. He's still complaining about the homunculus. But we're already chatting it up with the thieves, and like I'm deep into a joke, and everyone's laughing. Like I'm totally hilarious.
prickly pear.
Okay, I bow to basically I stay with the fire, and you guys go and do what you will. I will do this. I will do this for everybody. I know I'm such a sweetheart. You can congratulate me later on the bow of valor here, and you guys all go explore and have fun. I'll just stay here with the pot of fucking stew, and hopefully some strange little head pops out sooner or later. And I'll find you guys. Okay, just don't forget about me, you fucking assholes.
Because
With the
of my ilk and my magic ability, I understand how to summon animal spirits and whatnot. And so I summon a grand leopard to help keep watch with you, to keep you protected. Mr. Batman, Man-Bat. Corpus.
We do need to point out at this point we have a missing character who may have sworn allegiance to Mulok and is now missing from the party.
With a tremendous fart, I reappear.
Out of solidarity with Diogenes, we both start barking at your fart.
And I summon that you pick up the bean, as it's this invisibility bean doesn't actually digest in your system. It just passes through. And so he farted and thus let the beans on the ground. I highly suggest you get them. If not, I'm going to fuck you up, because those are very priceless.
I cover my nose.
At this moment, the fountain, which was providing crystal clear water, begins to sputter violently, spitting out more and more of a bloody red substance.
Doesn't look like Gabe's the only one with the runs, huh?
My front tail is growing.
And just to
It's
clarify,
the pheromones.
am I still in the presence of everyone? But I'm out with this den of thieves, right? So this is all occurring outside of my purview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm psychically communicating.
How loud
with,
was the fart?
Enough to rub
The thieves hear it.
It rang like a bell.
Yes, and the singing of the nymphs of the wood seem to have died down a little as they giggle amongst each other.
How are you being received in the Den of Thieves, Paranoidicus? I'm very, very, very interested to know how that's going.
So at this point, I'm showing everyone the
Demilius is
tattoo.
there.
Well, I'm showing everyone this tattoo with what we think is the word fence, and I'm just trying to get as much information as I can. Everyone seems to know what it is, but they're all a bunch of criminals and thieves. So
Yes,
you know,
this
I'm
is
not sure how many
true.
I can trust.
They allowed you in because you showed the sign of the fence. They believe you to be a sworn member of this brotherhood of thieves in this thieves guild, and they will offer information to you. They describe how this island estate was established through sort of a mafioso sort of thing, where they're selling the finest silks. Sure, they're exporting a lot, yes, but also they send out thieves to infiltrate libraries from around the world, all different sorts of colleges and universities and mages guilds and things, and they've amassed all of these books. The master of the estate became obsessed with what he described as the true and real magic, attempting many summonings of different demonic entities and angels and things. And strangely enough, the one that answered the prayer, I don't know what it was, but it was Mulok, this mule man peacock figure with the hardest abdomen and Adonis belt you've ever seen. It is quite obscene. And these hens have been bred because of the magical quality of the feathers and the eggs. But as they begin to laugh, they reveal to you that the fact is they take these birds, these hens, these young hens, they inject fear into them. And then at the top of the mountain, where the top of the volcano, the source of their water is where they sacrifice them and then let the blood run down into the creek. This then fertilizes their herbal gardens and creates that sort of extra magical property, which creates a hallucinogenic effect in the food that they offer all of you. So all of the foods grown on the land have this blood magic instilled in them, which creates in you stupor and confusion as Mulok laughs in delight, enjoying the fact that you all are now trapped here. And this is the entertainment for him and the other demons that surround him.
To show appreciation for this information, I let all of the thieves know that the mollusks outside are right now under the full moon, can be used to dye their silks that they've been trading in. So even if the ink is not helpful to us personally, I'd like to share that with my little den of thieves and I intentionally am doing this to establish some more rapport.
I ask Mr. Slick if there's any prophetic visions that he can give us of understanding what we could do to maybe cure this food so that we can eat of it, because I am starting to get hungry.
I look deeply into my hat. And I see in the distant future that there is a possibility that this food will be ready. But it requires an axe. That I happen to know that Bash is a very handy axeman. So I turn my hat to him, and I tell him if he can reach into my hat with his axe, he might be able to extract some sustenance from the cauldron that Bat Boy is protecting in the future. Reach on in there with your axe, Bash.
I put my axe into your hat, but my axe is so big it won't fit in your hat. But I push it in there anyways.
Bash! Don't be bashful!
I tattoo myself to mark this occasion.
Very monumental. Very monumental.
I notice now that I've taken 3 total sort of milestones on my arm. And I'm just going to give this a shot because this was a magical ink. But I'm going to go ahead and press that second tattoo that I made when we were all reminded that we were not supposed to bow before Mulok. And I hope maybe this can either bring us back to that decision or will somehow assist us in, righting some of the wrongs of breaking our vows.
So
as that interaction was going on, I was staring and I became a bit aroused. I just want to point that out. I was looking in delight. Just point that out.
Paranoidicus has spoken with the Thieves Guild. They reveal further that they are just merchants for hire, mercenaries for hire. They don't swear any allegiance to anyone. They don't know what's going on the island. They're just there to bring in the books and the stolen merchandise. It's a collector of all sorts of fine grimoires, scrolls, books, potions, silks, whatever. It's just he's a collector, and now he's apparently maybe chained in a basement somewhere because Mulok has taken over his kingdom.
I'm noticing that this homunculi pot that I'm still here observing and watching, as I've been slowly like dripping in a couple driplets here and there, that it's actually starting to activate quite a bit. Starting to notice some fingers reaching out of the corner of the pot, and I am yelling for anybody with any sort of alchemical knowledge, especially the homuncologist, to beckon back as soon as possible to see what we've created, and maybe it can be of help to us, because after intuitively feeling that this Paranoidicus is dealing with this situation at the den, the Thieves of Den, the Den of Thieves, that they have things that might be able to help us a little bit, at least the silks. There are special silks that I need in my thing. Anyways, I'm beckoning. Please come, please. The hands and the pointy little fingers, these grubbits are poking out. I'm nervous and not know what we've created. Please come back, please, please.
I am standing at the fountain, smoking a cigarette after I just put my axe into Slick's hat, and looking to see what this fountain might be doing, because it's gushing water and
it's all blood now, and it's overflowing. You're standing in a puddle of blood.
This blood must also be infected. I leap to the nearest rock for safety, and continue to gaze upon it and wonder what's going to happen to me. But I know there's something that I should be able to do. Yeah. And I gaze into the blood, and some letters appear, but I do not know what these mean.
You're getting very dizzy. You find yourself feeling like you're about to pass out, and you've passed out.
Can I smell your axe real quick, dude?
It's a smelly axe.
I want to smell your axe really quick.
Get up and watch your axe, Bash. Gotta wash your axe.
If you have some axe body spray, perhaps you can gain some knowledge.
It's very difficult to speak when you've passed out because you stared at a pool of blood for too long. Paranoidicus has the knowledge, and perhaps has obtained at this point in our story a quest goal: to seek the source of the blood of the fountain, and or find the master of the estate in bondage somewhere, maybe in a basement.
Is he wearing leather?
The thieves do not care, as they have no allegiance. They've revealed that they have tried to escape, but the storms on the water, it's impossible to escape, so they're waiting it out for calmer water. Somehow they're a little bit angered that you have all arrived and have stirred up the emotions of the island and Mulok's rage.
Is my cousin Thimbius a part of the thieves? I need to know if he is there. He has major help of us on this mission. Please, Paranoidicus, scan the den and see if Thembis is amongst the thieves.
He is there, but I owe him quite a lot of money and materials, so we are unfortunately on not the best of terms. However, I make him an offer that he might not be able to refuse. I let him know that I am already so much in debt to him that I'll basically triple it. We'll triple down it if he can get us out of this jam. And in addition to that, I offer him at least half of all of the items that I've acquired so far throughout the night, including your vial, the devil's root/vine, which I still haven't identified. And also I mix a little bit of that asbestos into the half of the vial that I offer your friend or your cousin. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. If we're psychically communicating through our,
I just want to let you know that this might not be great for him, but it'll get me out of my debt and it'll help our little party here. So we both might have to deal with the ramifications of this after our quest.
I like you need to let him know that I'm here and that I have something that I can give him that might be able to procure all that debt that you have with him.
Thimbist
So
exclaims to you, "Fools, the only thing of any value to him at this point in his life is to continue existing, which means to escape this volcanic island before it erupts, before things are so far out of control that you all die of starvation because you know you cannot eat the food of the island. You cannot drink the water. You cannot drink the blood. You cannot drink the water from the ocean. You guys are running low on
Perception
time
check.
here."
Is time different on this island at all? Or is it going by slower, quicker?
You look to the sky, the celestial clock, the sky clock is not visible due to the storm clouds. There remains a purple haze around this island of mist and fog.
I okay, so I'm standing here looking at this still where our homunculi, like I said, had his hands peeking out his fingers, and I'm noticing more than two hands coming out. I'm not sure if it's the same body. It's slowly cracking the veil into this reality. And I'm wondering if anybody is on their way back making it here. If not, I'm
on my way back. I'm gonna tell you not to stare directly at the light that is gonna come forth from that alchemical reaction, because it will quite literally jumble your DNA from the magnum opus that's about to happen there.
Luckily, I have my shades on.
This whole time, I've been actually extra affected by the smells coming out of the cauldron because triflers have a weakness for curious smells. And I've actually been breathing it quite deeply, and the effects are double for me. And now my eyes are swirling in a hypnotic spiral.
I
Start
see
rubbing your shoulders to ease the tension.
Is Slick losing consciousness?
I see that Slick is losing consciousness, and since I'm the only one that can see him, since I coated him in this fine purple dust, I take his now unconscious body and I bring it back to me to the den of thieves, and then I just start shaking his front-facing tail to anyone that wants a hint of it, and I'm just doing my best to just win just absolute favor and rapport to make the ultimate suggestion, which is not going to make any of these thieves happy, but basically we're going to pull short sticks, and whoever pulls that short stick is going to eat whatever this devil's thing is, because I don't know if it's poison or if it's good. They're going to eat it, and if they die from it, we're going to eat their flesh so that we can continue sustaining. So I do that, and I make that proposition. I have no idea how it's going to be received. I keep my eye on the door in case I need to bolt out if people
The
start
leader of the
looks.
Thieves Guild catches wind of what's going on. He approaches you sternly, points to the door, and says, "Get out now."
I immediately leave quickly and without protest and
The
return
door
back to
is
the party.
slammed behind you. You hear a board latching it tight.
What the fuck?
Perception check. Did I get left in the den of
I was
thieves?
gonna say,
Did
what
Thomas
happened?
take me with him?
Yeah, what happened to Slick?
You're with me, I think.
Slick's body is thrown out against the docks.
Okay.
Sling him here. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this pot. Get this homunculus and get a fucking plan going.
So as soon as I get there, I I dip my finger into the mixture and I give it a little taste. Our homunculus is almost ready, and you're not gonna like what you see, Corpus. Okay, this is gonna be this. I did take a shortcut when it came to this particular recipe. There's various grimoires, and I followed one of the quickest ones by Jabir ibn Hayyan, which a lot of people don't like, but it is what it is. Okay, and as soon as I say that, we see the face of the homunculus pop out of this purple like goo, and it's got the face of Slick Dissident, okay, because we did use it with his seed. So now we have a a
Billie Jean
little.
dissident.
We got a doppel dissident.
At this moment, flashbangs smash against the ground. You guys are blinded and stunned. Appearing before you are the maidens dressed in red and purple, almost like tights, like ninja costumes. Their eyes are revealed, but everything else is covered. They pull out scimitars and point them at you. They are ready for battle. They declare that only Mulak can give and take life.
Oh, so this has been a part of the extra rumbling. We've angered the island spirits even more by creating and killing a homunculus.
The blood
Can
of
I
that
wake
first
up?
homunculus soaking into the ground.
We shouldn't have let it hit the ground.
Well, nobody fucking told you to kill it in the first place, bro. He was almost level 3.
Can I wake
So
up? Somebody
Go
help
ahead.
me! What the fuck?
I am curious about my brother Bash.
What's up with Bash? We
Can
need
the-
Bash.
I make a bat dash over to Bash.
As when Bash was out conscious, I took his wallet and I looked through it to see if he had any money, and then I put it back in.
Hopefully, it wasn't my prison wallet.
So as a trifler, it's completely offensive to me, the very notion that there could be possibly another one like me. And we immediately launch into front tail combat.
The scimitars are rattling each other. These women are they're just beating their breasts. They are ready for combat.
I am
Roll for
I am
initiative.
awakened, and I had a vision in my passed out state that I will not reveal yet. But I realized the sense of danger is among us, and I take out my flaming sword of fire, and I go into a fanatic state and whirl it around in a circle, smashing all of these hens into ash with my sword.
Their acrobatic skills are incredible. You realize that the toxins are still in your body. All of the poisons, all of the mental delusions have caused your motion, your motor skills to not quite match up with your thoughts, and you fumble and fall to the ground. Your combat is
Can I
not
pass
going to
out
be a
again?
success in this situation.
So I'm still trying to work myself out of a pickle here. Apparently, I've offended this den of thieves, and they've locked me in after telling me to get out. So I just want to remind them all that I told them about those nice mollusks. They can get all the ink that they want, and I'm also going to offer this magical ball. However, when I hold it out to show them what's in it, I activate it and sever that divide, so that now the egg and the sticky handkerchief combine, and I'm just hoping that something here happens to either cause a distraction or to maybe gain some favor with my my previous den of little homies.
The door of the thieves' den has a little hole. It slides open. You can see the eyes, and then a mouth appears, and it shouts, "You fools, get off the dock. You cannot fight Mulak. There must be another way. It has to be something else. It has to be clever. There has to be intelligence. It has to be something with the book, the idea."
I
This
believe
guy's
if
obsessed with books.
I believe
and
if we were
knowledge.
to find anything, we might need to make our way back towards the castle. Maybe there's a basement there that leads to a cavern, or something. It's either I'm just feeling that we need to either get to the lowest part of the land or the highest part of the land. I'm super willing to fly everybody up to that window, or if we can try to find them.
I mount you first.
I'd like to rip off some of those trellises that were on the side with the vines growing and hope that maybe there's some sort of secret passageway down into a cavern behind those trellises.
My little Gabe homunculus climbs on my back, by the way. He goes up under my... I have like this big, long robe type of looking thing. And he climbs up under, and he is like a little baby sloth hanging from my back.
And I can't help but notice, since he's hanging on your back and he has the front-facing tail, that tail's just non-stop tickling your back wherever you go.
That would feel great. I'm down.
So
who's tickling my back as I'm flying? Everybody, I got Juan and the homunculus up. I'm dropping back down to grab Slick. Is Slick still passed out, or is your body conscious?
I'm sword fighting with my doppelganger over here. I've already revealed that I'm not left-handed, and my doppelganger has revealed that he's not left-handed. We're almost at the end of the fight over here, but in an act of desperation, I take my hat off and I throw it to Bosch, and I tell him, "Quick, figure something out."
I finally am able to retrieve my axe from the hat that I left there, as it has some properties that if I put it into this bloody ooze that has leaked all over the lawn by the fountain, I chop at the blood, and something is revealed to me, and that is that mules fear electric fences.
I take my electric ball and I put it up against the trellis, hoping that perhaps this has some effect. Although I'm not quite confident that it will.
Well, I come down and I swoop Slick from his sword gang, and I bring him up to the window so he can be with his homunculi baby. I feel like the homunculi is getting a little bit off balance with just the one parent. So
giving up on fencing and realizing that I cannot best myself, I'm resorting from a distance now to rap battling and yelling insults and witty poetry. Holding Icarus feathered yang, hearted heart. Exhale yin-winged wisdom with every breath. Bound to your will's mouth, wielding saber. Convert wishing well sky to a wellspring of oaths. Pierce heaven's edge astride druidic hinges.
Paranoidicus in his own part of the world notices that there is a drainage area in this garden. There's a seems like an entranceway. It could easily be pulled off, and it looks like it's large enough for your bodies to fit into.
Being the guy that I am, I go ahead and offer. I'll go ahead and Shawshank my way through this nasty sludge and sewer pipe, just to try and make amends to perhaps some of the rash actions earlier of the evening, just to show that, you know, I'm still a worthy person to be part of this party. So I jump head first into whatever nasty bile awaits me.
Climbing through and swimming through the sludge and vile, and it seems to be the plumbing system of the estate. This is their sewer system, essentially, and you are swimming through it upstream. The stench is so foul, but you're able to plug your nose and get through it. You find there's an opening, and you're able to get up to a ledge, and there is a lantern there, and it is lit. There's another door and a stairway.
I make a note of this moment because I'm going to remind Diogenes of me covered in fecal matter, completely naked, just because I think that might bring a smile to his face when I am reunited with him.
He is pleased beyond words.
At this moment, looking at Nancy Melichio, I look at him. He has a sparkle in his eye, and such a sparkle it is. I want to take him and put him into one of my endless satchels, because he looks like his sparkle is out to about to faint. It's quite interesting. So I'm going to take him and put him in my pocket and keep his homunculus around, because we can't really handle the fact that we have him without a homunculus, and I'm wondering if he goes down without a fight.
Slick, can your super homunculi doppel dissident read the text now from the pages that have been stolen from this book?
I believe the words read something along the lines of decipher idle-aged figures on your star-literate temple. Command silver, broad, sweeping strokes.
Before I was put into the compartment of Corpus, before I fainted, I whispered in his ear as he caressed me before he put me in there, and I said, I told him one thing that's going to be very vital to the quest and everything else going on. It's very serious, and I whispered to him and I said, "Do you know the Muffin Man?"
The Muffin Man?
And then I fainted, and that's it.
This on Chewy Lane? Well, I take him and I say, well, voyage, you fainted sweet man of muffin glory. Your top is chewy and crispy. I'm going to slide you into my pocket until the time is due. Thank you so much for everything that you've ever done on this quest. Your homunculus will come and rise to the cream of the crop of the top of the goodness. Until next time, I put you in my pocket, boy.
And with that, a character departs the story for now. Paranoidicus stands at the door, dripping with the foulest, stinkiest odors.
I feel like I also noticed some of those indigestible magical beans that Gabe had tried to eat earlier are all throughout this huge mass of fecal matter.
There are undigested legumes dripping from your robes.
I take some of this and store it for later, and I also wonder, use my sense of perception, perhaps do a perception check on if any of this fecal matter could be at the key of our biofuel problem, to be used as oil in the lamp for Diogenes, if he might somehow appreciate the irony in that.
The door opens and out walks one of the servants, who is shocked to find you standing there. Immediately grabs you, pulls you, brings you into a bath area, turns on the water, bathes you, cleans you up, and puts on a new purple robe with feathers. Bash,
I have can we bring in one of our listeners as the servant girl?
Certainly. That's a possibility. They can communicate through chat as well.
Is it Bird Dog? I don't know if I can handle another companion with a hat cooler than mine.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you got to be careful. Too many hats in the gang. Only one fedora per crew.
The servant, who is now clothed Paranoidicus, begins to ask about the priesthood of the peacock and wondering when is the next ritual, and are you prepared for it?
I denote that I am prepared and show that I've already tattooed the magical word fence on my left palm. I have no idea if this is accurate, although I convey it with such a convincing and confident manner that I'm hoping that I might be able to just persuade them in believing me.
I ask.
She is convinced.
I ask of Paranoidicus if, since he has such electrical spells, if he could endow our weapons with such electricity to maybe it'll help in combating this mule lock.
Yeah, I'll let you know that all you need to do is get Gabe to put some of his sticky essence on the edge of your blade, and then just hone it with any eggs that you might have left over, and this should give you the power that you need. You know, I'm happy to spread that knowledge with you.
Yes, because my blade has already been inside of Gabe's hat. It is already imbued with his blood. And now I crack an egg upon my axe, and it starts to electrify, and you can see the electricity coming from said axe, and it's in my hand, and I am so thrilled and happy, because I think I have an answer.
What is the answer?
I do not know it yet. The answer
Still
is
thinking about the
axe in my
answer?
hand. I think it's going to be able to slay the mule lock. He's scared of
Paranoidicus,
electricity.
now dressed in the robe of the Peacock Priest class, has discovered another member dressed in the same robe, wearing the cloak, grabs him by the wrist and pulls him along. Paranoidicus goes along with him to find that there is a chapel, there's a room, there is this raised platform, there's a dais, there is a stone slab, and there's a purple curtain around it, and the priests in their robes are all gathered around it. They're holding hands, they're swaying back and forth, there are candles lit, there's incense in the room, music is playing, and the energy is rising.
I'm automatically intrigued by such tunes, and my my bat fangs start to actually when I dance, they kind of retreat back up and they make that click noise, and I can't stop but groove to a tune, and so that's happening to me, and I feel like I've been put in some strange kind of transic situation. A dancing transic, so I'm having a good time.
I noticed some of these chants because I believe I might have heard them again in like an old prison sort of chain gang, and it sounds like it's multiple statements strung together that could perhaps even give us an idea of how to slay this bull god, that this Adonis that we're after. So again, I overstate how familiar I am with languages, and I find myself in a little bit of a quandary where I might be hearing the exact answer to what we're looking for, but the best I can do is just try to memorize the sounds that are being made.
It's more of a Gregorian chant. They're not seemingly pronouncing words, but they are evoking something.
I lean over to Paranoidicus and ask him to slip me a couple beans so I can get this party lit.
Slick appears to be standing next to Paranoidicus, wearing a robe, but also in disguise. How he got there, I have no idea. But there are two now in the ritual chamber.
In order to not draw attention, instead of passing Slick this bean covertly, I just kind of slip it under his robe and put it right into where it needs to go.
Very subtly, I consume the beans and begin to fade from the visual field of the participants of the party. But before I do, to the sound of the music, I begin to recite. Scarabs, scratched wands, swords, and lightning flash will languish to forge runes, spell words out of atomic, akashic, ash-blown letters. And with those words, I fade into invisibility. and begin to sneak about the party, putting kisses on everybody's neck.
And I hate to do this,
that
guys.
poem also works, my fangs come back, and I start to stand stiff a bit, and I applaud such a. I was getting a little lost in the sauce there.
I hate to do this, but I noticed as Gabe becomes invisible, the homunculus is remaining and is visible. I don't kill it yet, but I do grab this tiny little mini Gabe,
Hungry.
and I stash this under my cloak. So now it's on my back, tickling me with its front-facing tail. I feel like it might be better off in my possession than anyone else at this point.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm starting to wander around. Just
I put
looking
earplugs
for...
in my ears because this music is horrendous.
What has it done to your body?
It's just, ugh.
Ugh.
Unnatural sounds.
I don't trust this music. I think I've already seen what it has done to you and make you boogie dance for days, and I want no part of it.
I am putting on my spectacles, my still frame crystalline spectacles, to see the potential of Slick's silhouette, to see what he's found, and maybe follow him along, as this room is it's starting to pick up energetically, and I'm really trying to find out other deeper meanings as to what is going on.
The ladies start to notice that Bash is acting very bashfully, that he's not swaying to the music, and this only draws them in more. And they start to swarm about him and give extra attention and shed layer upon layer, exposing themselves more in an attempt to entice him.
I'm not fooled by mere illusions of women. I could give a fuck. And I keep my earplugs in, and I pull out my electric axe and keep them at bay. They seem to be very afraid of the electricity emanating from it.
I offer a kiss, actually, to one of these maidens. However, at the last moment when they go in for the kiss, I duck my head and I let Gabe's little homunculus buddy, the old switcheroo. And I hope this might have some effect on the maidens that we're not anticipating.
The maidens continue their dancing outside the perimeter of the priests, who are again circled around a platform which it's covered in this thick purple curtain. But
Here we are again.
But you're still in this room with this curtain. You begin to hear grunts. Sort of, it's like a heavy breathing. It's kind of like the you get the sense that something is being birthed on the stage behind the curtain.
Gabe, do you smell anything specific that might give us an indication of what the hell's going on behind this curtain?
Yes, and my front tail is definitely responding.
Yeah, and I can feel your little mini front tail definitely responding under my cloak a little bit. What is that? What does that mean? Why did
Like
it just
pop
do
like
that?
sun?
I think it means whatever it is, it's definitely female.
My androgyny Batman-ness goes and seems to peek behind the curtain, and as I do so, I automatically was blinded and pass out on the ground. Not of a smell, not of a feel, but of a sight.
My mini-me homunculus goes over to the curtain and pulls the curtain away to reveal an unbelievable sight.
The sight is so unbelievable, I don't know that I can even reveal it. Are you all prepared for this?
I grab the homunculus and I rip its body into pieces and I spread its blood across our arms and legs again, just in preparation for what might happen.
Thank you.
As also because I have earplugs in my ears, I am complete silence, and I have been scoping out the whole environment and have seen Bat Boy pass out from what he has seen. And I ask of Slick to pull some goggles out of his hat, his magical hat of abundance, so that I can put them on my face so that I can view what is happening, so I may wield my axe and bash the shit out of this fucking demon.
I hand you the goggles. Through the considerable harem that you've accumulated despite your efforts to ignore them.
Anticipating the bash might have just gotten in over his head, I loudly proclaim the best I can to pronounce this word that was written on my hand, and I try to conjure all the energy of this ball that's been following me around and expel the rest of it as I shout this word out and stick my left hand into the air. Guessing what it might do, I have no idea.
And at this time, I've awakened for the homunculi blood and this powerful energy that has thus been beckoned by Paranoidicus, and seeing that he is wielding his orb, which is highly anticipated by myself. Indeed, I reach into one of my pockets for some of the nearest silver purple pineapple juice that I have, and I throw it along with it, hoping to thus expand such a collision with this demon.
With this, the moment is right. The breathing is heavier. The maidens, the doulas, preparing birth, they're bringing the huge pools of water. They're walking with sponges. There's a lot of sweat and grunting, and the behind the curtain, it's a medical scene as deliverers dressed as kind of a medieval looking doctor situations happening. You begin to sense that something is being birthed here. It's still kind of clouded in a purple haze, and there's sweating and grunting and glitter just emerging. It is a scene of a birth of something.
How are our attacks received on this medical scene?
Due to the nature of the music and the dedication of the doulas here, the priests begin to kind of wake up, snap out of their hypnosis, and they begin to notice that something is interrupting this ritual.
My front tail is swollen considerably, and I can no longer resist the smell. So I decide to poke this strange glowing orb to see what might be waiting behind the suspense.
So the orb approaches, finds a place between the thick fabric to glance into this delivery room. Do you see the vision in your mind, or how does this work?
It's definitely squishy.
It's you see behind the vaporous the fluids. It looks like a magic mirror in your mind's eye, and you begin to make out the form of. First, you notice gold chains from the wall. You notice that there's a scene of bondage here, and this figure is familiar because you've seen it before. It seems to be Mulok hanging from these chains above this platform. There's a pool of blood beneath it, and the mule haunches are spread wide, and the grunting continues, and you can see as the orb moves lower that there is what seems to be emerging an egg from the haunches of Mulok. This entity is birthing some kind of an egg.
It's a weather balloon.
I take the sticky handkerchief I was given earlier and I throw it on top of the egg so that it sticks directly on top of it. And I hope that the blood of these previously 2 sacrificed homunculi, one also being the blood brother of this sticky handkerchief, gives us some sort of ownership or power over what is in this egg.
At this moment, Mulok, in all of its rage and birthing pains and pangs and tangs and whatever drugs that they are on, this entity finally loosens the sphincter, releases something, and the egg drops into the pool, covered in the. And this is the moment when Mulok is most vulnerable after having given birth to this magic egg.
First thing I tend to do is go up and use my fangs to bite right in the temple of Mulok, hoping that that does some justice on this beast. And the blood is nourishing me like it always does.
Mulok is far weaker than appearances have led you to believe. Faint and unable to protect itself, bound by gold chains in a very flamboyant way. You've struck a weakness. The egg has been delivered. What happens next?
I put my electrical axe upon the golden chains, and it starts to send a current through the chains to Mulok and electrocutes him.
The feathers begin to burst like popcorn kernels. This bird is getting cooked.
I run up and I deliver the final blow to Mulok's donkey mule face and split his head in 2 with my axe.
Mulok's jawbone has been cracked and severed from its face. It hangs loosely.
I pick up his jawbone and put it into my satchel as a token of my destruction of Mulok that I will later use as an ornament and talisman for future journeys.
I noticed that Gabe is starting to reappear, so I plug him with another kidney bean, and just out of safekeeping, I plug Bash 2 when he's not looking.
What do these kidney beans do?
They make you invisible. It's just a safety precaution.
Sweet.
He's got so much front tail engagement that like keeping him invisible is probably a safe way to be from until he needs to reveal himself to get us out of a sticky situation.
With the destruction of Mulok now taking place, and this egg, what is going on with this egg? Can we have some visuals on perception on what sequence?
There seems to be a rumble.
The priests outside have all bowed. They're all prostrate against the ground, their hands above their heads. They are in total surrender. There's no force to defend them. The doulas have just They're out of their mind. They don't know what's going on. They were just servants of Mulak, and now they have no leader.
Ooh, somebody
I
needs
sh-
a
I
leader.
I show my magical fence word on my left hand, and I basically tell everyone that I've been the head priest all along, and that now, in absence of a leader, I should become the new head priest.
No one disagrees. No one challenges this.
I tell everyone that in order to maintain their priestly appearance, they now must also enter the horrible sewers of this palace. And one by one, as they enter, I then plug them within the bowels of this castle.
They line up like lemmings, willingly jumping into the sewer stream. They do as they're told.
On a seemingly climactic series of events, I'm reaching into my pockets to pull out something to lessen my anxiety. The blood of the past priest has gotten me so riled high that my bat heart is beating with the drumbeat of Beatrix, and I find something to null me just enough to give a final bow to the new high priest.
All hail Paranoidicus.
All hail
Paranoidicus. All hail Paranoidicus.
And all the maidens follow suit.
This is true.
I take the lamp and I put some of that fecal biofuel into it, and I light it, hoping that the actual body of Diogenes finally appears.
The spirit of Diogenes appears. He thanks you all. He has few words, as you are now the storytellers and masters of this domain. The clouds begin to dissipate. The purple haze releases itself from the vaporous fields. The sun begins to rise. There's light on the land and fog no more. The thieves notice it's morning. They walk out onto the docks, and a ship appears in the harbor.
And they forget Paranoidicus's debt to them completely in a sign of loyalty.
And because I'm a nice guy, I unplug the other side of the sewer so those priests can get out of that little tunnel that I trapped them in earlier. And I remind them of my generosity. Should we ever encounter paths again, they are now indebted to me. As such is the way of my currency and my world.
Thimbus approaches Paranoidica.
Thimbus, I miss you, brother. Cousin, brother, man.
Thanking you all for the work you've done and acknowledging the fact that the ship has arrived. All the thieves trapped in the guild are now able to leave the island. Now that Mulak is dead, the blood has stopped running down the mountain volcano. The eruption seems to be stalled. All is well again.
I give Gabe a little rub on his front tail for good luck as we part ways.
Victory. 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 Victory.
Vini, vidi, vici.
I'm ready to go back to the hall and engage in some food with the brethren. After we defeated Moloch, we shall engage in victory.
And I tip my hat to everybody using my front tail.
And some more things fall out of it.
And scene. That was great, amazing. I feel like we a big I don't know if this was like an underlying archetype that was just like inside of us all, but there's a lot of Wizard of Oz inner workings of Frank L. Baum in this story, which I am not at all disappointed with.
That was glory. That was full glory.
I feel like my criminal character now has
Definitely full
unfortunately
glory
developed
for
like a
you.
poop fetish.
Makes sense, right?
It saved my ass at this point. I feel like this phoenix has been rebirthed through fecal matter.
Yeah,
In fact, I think I can start my own cult
The
now, and
fecal
I
phoenix?
know what the initiation ritual is going to entail. So
well, it's your land now, so for the next time around, it's going to be such a quite different venture. There's a lot of request from the crowd to bring on more feminine energy for the next one. So we will definitely do that, and we will build on this story in this universe because this has been a blast from the beans.
Oh man, my face is in agony.
And now I highly recommend everybody goes and checks out Interverse Live because our buddy Chance is talking with one of our favorite guests that we've had on Rising from the Ashes a couple times, David Matheson. It'll undoubtedly be a great chat. And so without further ado, thank you guys so much. Does anybody have any final words to say? I want to thank Alan for being a tremendous anchor in this and holding it down, a tremendous dragon master. Thank you, brother.
yeah, thank you so much for DMing.
Absolutely, Alan. Thank you. AlanMarcus.com, everybody.
Real
get
website.
this done. That's what's up.
Paranoidicus, they want to know what the DTA on your shirt says, or what it means.
It means don't trust anyone. It's a now defunct clothing company. But yeah, DTA is don't trust anyone. I think this is like the Triforce, all-seeing eye. So there's like a little bit of a Zelda influence there.
Nice.
Don't trust anyone except homunculi that have large front tails.
Yeah, you put that guy under your shirt, man. You did a high level of trust. Magical beings, though, he's quite comfortable within.
Trust me, once I
somehow.
recognize a decent homunculus, it'll survive. But if there's one thing that I can't stand, it's an inferior homunculus.
Yeah, it's some
Absolutely.
front tail big spoon action going on.
There's still the matter of that egg that we'll have to figure out next time.
Yes.
Something was killed, but something was
point,
birthed.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this land has in store now that because I feel like a lot of the workings that was happening was because this birthing was going on and we were all brought to this land in the time of the birth. We were like pre-seeing the birth and we're all supposed to be there. So like it was very divine timing on a lot of ends. And so, you know, the egg is yet to been hatched, but we do have Paranoidicus as the hailing ruler. And so that does leave us on quite a climax. Very, very curious to where this lands next time. And when we get to, and I know Bash already headed off back with his Viking brothers. He was saying something of the sort to go get some grog and ale and things. But I feel like he won't be able to get too far. Seems like this land has quite a magnetism to it.
Yes.
All right, fellas. I'm heading over to Interverse. I want to see what's up with our boy David Matheson. You guys have had him on a couple times, haven't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing. And everybody, let's go do that. I'm ending the broadcast now. Let's go check out our buddies. And thank you guys so much. Cheers. Until next time.
See y'all. Love you guys.
Peace.
Bye.